The next 2 or so years could be the best years possible for you to get the highest credit limits through a massive increase in your income. And I'm going to give you a very, very detailed reason why. Going into 2024 and 2025, at least, we're likely to have a very significant economic shift because it almost has to happen. This is going to be a massive push from the federal government in particular. And of course, private corporations are also going to be pushing for this because they have financial incentive as well. The economy has to start booming beyond what it is right now with lower interest rates as soon as possible. The main reason, or at least we'll start out with a series of reasons and we'll break out and I'll come back and explain to you how this leads to you having a significant increase in your income potentially if you do this right, and how that can lead to massive credit limits and other benefits in your banking relationship that can help you scale your business and your finances. The first thing we got going on is inflation is finally starting to taper out and slow down. The Federal Reserve is having success with inflation. So the latest data that has come out has showed that inflation has been roughly flat or starting to drop down some, which is great news. The Federal Reserve's impact has been effective. So that basically means the Federal Reserve is likely peaked out on its interest rates, meaning that it's not likely to raise interest rates any further unless some other data comes out that will shift that wagon otherwise. The next thing we got going on in 2024 is election season. Many of us that are anywhere in the political and finance world understand whenever elections come around, there's a certain image that the government wants to be had. The party that's in office now, that's going to be likely fighting for re-election, is going to be looking for the economy to look strong during election season. They don't want people going to the polls with their pockets hurt. So the government is going to be pushing for the Federal Reserve to drop interest rates as much as they can, even though the Federal Reserve is supposed to be an autonomous body. They are going to be under pressure from the federal government to do something about interest rates. And you can better believe that that's going to have an effect on things, especially if the Federal Reserve has the excuse of inflation being down enough to do so. So the election cycle is going to play a big role. They're definitely going to want interest rates down as much as possible, because that's going to spur a healthier economy and people are going to feel better psychologically going to the polls, voting for the party that's already in office. The next thing that you have going on that's government related is higher interest rates also increases the bill, the tab for the federal government. They're also stuck paying higher interest rates as well, along with the fact that the federal government has put itself in a position where its credit rating is starting to drop. Fancy that, right? The federal government, out of the 3 major credit reporting agencies for governments and countries around the world, have dropped the United States credit rating down from AAA to AA. And the last one is threatening to do so. You all know how credit works. It works the same way for the government. If your credit rating drops, that means that you're starting to pay higher to borrow capital. Federal government, our government, borrows capital from private and government entities around the world. So that's one problem. And the fact that the interest rates at home to fight inflation is up, that's another problem. It also forces them to need more tax revenue. The federal government will need more tax revenue. So what that basically means, that most people don't connect this dot, they need us to make money to tax us. What does that mean? The federal government needs us to make more money to tax us. They need us and businesses to make more money. In order for that to happen, you want the lowest unemployment and you want people making more money. You need the economy healthy. How does the economy get healthy? Lower interest rates. It's gonna boom. That means people will spend more money, and it also means that more money is being pushed into circulation, borrowed into circulation. That's what the federal government needs in order to raise taxes effectively, to get more tax revenue, and that's on the local, state, and federal level. So, all of that having been the case, you can see a strong argument for why. This is just the public sector for the most part. We haven't even gotten into the fact that corporations are going to get massive stock valuation increases when the interest rates drop as well. The stock market is likely going to go bonkers because this is going to mean that more people are spending money with these companies. These companies are going to increase their earnings, and increased earnings usually leads to increased valuations. So that's the private sector in an overall, like, in a broad encompassing look in the private sector. So on both sides of the spectrum, Jerome Powell and the Federal Reserve was under a ton of pressure to get rates down, whether they win or whether they're forced to. Sometime in 2024, they are likely going to pull down interest rates. That haven't been the case. Whether they do so slowly and methodically or whether they do so in chunks, it's going to be a different conversation. It depends on the economic and geopolitical landscape. We have wars going on that the government needs to fund by billions of dollars. We have a lot of social programs here in the United States that are in trouble by billions of dollars. The government has a ton of spending to do, and we know they have no problem doing it. That being said, they need interest rates down in order to do that. So what does that mean? The economy has to boom. We're already under the highest and the most dense amount of pressure against the economy, pushing down on the economy we've seen in decades. And the economy is still pretty hot. Whenever the Federal Reserve increases interest rates, drops interest rates, you can believe the housing market, as well as just overall money in circulation, is going to go crazy, because people are already still spending money. People are still buying homes. These things, people are still funding vacations. They're still borrowing at a high level. Whenever the money gets cheaper, it's going to be crazy. So what that basically means is that if you position yourself freelancing or as a business owner, a small business owner, and in some cases as a W-2 job, depending on the industry, and you'll see an upswing as well. But I'm talking about more of a control over your income. Freelancing, business ownership, you have an opportunity to grow your income significantly in the next 2 years at least. If you're a real estate professional, even if you're an Uber driver or whatever, people are going to be spending more money. They're going to be doing more things. If you provide a service and if you provide products that people are going to be spending money on, then you're going to win. When your money increases, your revenue increases, your verifiable income increases, personal or business, this opens up the access gate to more capital, and capital will be cheaper. Cheaper capital is going to basically mean that you can borrow more money at a cheaper rate, leaving you more room to profit through arbitrage, which I continue to teach here on this channel, in this community for our pioneers. You want money as cheap as possible. Borrowing money allows you to scale. You have to have good finances in order to borrow money, generally speaking. To borrow it at the best rates, you have to have pretty good credit and pretty good income. Most institutions that offer the best lending products at the best rates and terms want you to have strong finances. So with you having an economic cycle coming up that will lead to higher revenue, that will lead to more money in circulation, this is your opportunity to get better limits at better prices and scale your business and scale your finances. I want you to comment down below and let me know what you think about this. I want you to comment down below and let me know what you expect the next 2 years or so for our economy. And I want you to comment down below and let me know what business or industry you're in and how you expect it to be affected by the changes we talked about. To all my pioneers, welcome back. To my new viewers, welcome in. You want to learn more about myself and the channel? Start in the description section, work your way to the about section on the channel. I want y'all to stay focused, stay in motion. I'll see y'all soon.
This is JP from Blueprint for Prosperity Network, a channel dedicated to helping you increase your net worth through relationship banking, maximizing your borrowing capacity, the proper use of life insurance, and the ownership of real estate. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'm uploading content on a daily basis to help you customize your blueprint for prosperity.